Hey, how you doing today? I'm back for another video. Haven't been doing any. Been really busy with Halloween and with the kids and everything, and my daughter and doctor's appointments and everything like that. It's been kind of a crazy couple of weeks. Um, I wanted to do more Halloween movies. I know I wanted to get into the actual Halloween movies themselves, but I never got around to buying like the fourth or the fifth one, the ones that I was missing. Um, so yeah, I promised I'd get into other videos other than horror movies. So got a couple weeks till Thanksgiving, so I thought I would do one of my favorite Thanksgiving movies. And then after this, I'll probably move on and maybe do some other, maybe some comedies or something like that. And then when we get closer to Christmas, I'll probably do a bunch of Christmas movies. Kind of continue the holiday themed movies here for a little while, and then eventually I'd like to get into a movie collection video, which I don't know exactly how that's going to work. I think I'm probably going to have to move all my movies into here because they're in a different part of the house. So anyways, continuing on with some more movie reviews today, and today I'm going to be reviewing one of my favorite comedies of all time, definitely one of my favorite Thanksgiving movies, and that movie is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, starring John Candy and Steve Martin. Now, this edition that I have is the 100-year edition of Paramount. Comes with the slipcover here, and then it's just a regular DVD underneath here. This one has some special features on it. It's Getting There and Half the Fun, the story of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which is like a short little, I don't know, I think it's like 10 or 15 minutes long. And they got John Hughes for Adults, a tribute to John Candy. They got some deleted scenes on here. Nothing too in depth. Wish they had done a little bit more, but it was still cool to see a few extra features on this movie. Now, this movie was made in 1987, about 92 minutes long. It is rated R. It's got a couple of scenes in here. I don't remember if there's nudity in this movie. Is that why it's rated R, or if it's just because of it's probably just because of the language. Some great scenes in here, which I'll get into in a few minutes here. Yeah, so basically, short plot summary of this movie is you got Steve Martin, who is on a business trip in Chicago, or no, he's in New York, I believe he starts out at, and he works in advertising, and he's trying to get home to his family for Thanksgiving. It's basically the plot of this movie. There's a good scene in the beginning where he's trying to get to the airport, and the little cameo of Kevin Bacon in this movie kind of is racing this guy, Kevin Bacon's character, to try and get on to, get a taxi or whatever and hurry up and get to the airport. So it's cool to see him in this movie. Now, this movie is directed by John Hughes, and he did a lot of these teen type. He's kind of the guy who started this whole, he did he directed 16 Candles. He directed what's the other ones that he did? The Breakfast Club and a few other ones, but those are the ones I mostly know him for. And then this one, Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. In my opinion, he was a great actor, director. He did a lot of good movies back in the 80s, in the early 90s. So basically you got Steve Martin. He's trying to get home to his family for Thanksgiving. He goes to get on. He finally does get to the airport, and he runs in and meets this character, who is John Candy. Character's name is Del Griffith in this movie, and basically once they meet each other, already Steve Martin's character can't stand him. John Candy's character kind of plays like a loudmouth in this movie. He's a really likable character, though. He's a loudmouth, but in the sense of like he's just a guy that's just so friendly that he just has a lot to say, you know, and you find out later why he is the way he is. I think anyway. Anyway, you know, who the hell doesn't know this movie? It's famous. Everybody knows Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's a great movie. I'm not going to get into it too much. Just a quick plot summary, real quick. Like I said, the guy's trying to get home for Thanksgiving. He runs into John Candy. They get on a plane. It's snowing too hard where they're supposed to go to Chicago, because that's where he wants to go, Chicago. So the plane lands somewhere else. They get off. John Candy kind of hooks up with Steve Martin, and they go and stay in a hotel for the night. They end up getting pickpocketed. The hotel that they're staying at is like a fucking just a dump. It's hilarious. Wake up in the morning and you got those aren't pillows, you know, kind of got his hand stuck in between his ass cheek there, and it's funny scene. Yeah, this is one of those movies that you know, at the end of the story it really touches your heart, you know. And this movie really makes I grew up in the late 80s and early 90s, and this movie really makes you miss John Candy. I mean, you just really think about, like, if you'd be alive today, what kind of movies would he have done? What would he have done? You know, would he continue acting? I would hope so. I mean, he's done a few that were bombs, but in my opinion, John Candy's every movie he's ever done has been gold. Even the ones that were flops. I love just about every movie that he's ever been in. I'm a huge John Candy fan. I'm a huge Steve Martin fan. I think they're both great actors. They play so well off of one another. This is just a comedy that warms your heart. It's a perfect, it's a perfect holiday movie about two grown men who are stuck in a situation that's funny but horrible at the same time. There's a scene in this movie where they're driving in a truck and they're in the back of a truck, and this guy's giving them a ride to the train station, and it's freezing cold. You know, they're riding it back, no heat, no nothing. They're out in the elements, and Steve Martin's character looks at John Candy's character and says, "What do you think the temperature is out right now?" And John Candy says, "Probably about 2." or 1 or whatever it was, you know, it was freezing. And there's just all kinds of moments like that in this movie that are just hilarious, you know, just make this movie everything that it is. And then of course you get the scene with Steve Martin where he, you know, of course he gets to this place, and you're supposed to have a rental car waiting for him, and then when he gets there, the rental car is gone, so he has to walk all the way back to the airport, and he flips out at the lady at the desk, you know, it's just hilarious, you know, it's great. Their car ends up getting destroyed after they end up getting a car. There's just so many good scenes in this movie, you know. You can go over every single one of them. Unfortunately, I don't really have the time to do that. I have to go to work later on, but I wanted to talk about this movie. Like I said, it's great, man. You know, so you know, you got these guys traveling all the way, you know, around the Mulberry Bush to get to Chicago, and John Candy's character, they kind of go their separate ways at one point in the movie, and then they find their way back together, you know, and you know, of course, Del Griffith, John Candy's character, you know, they talk and everything, and find out that you know, they're talking about their wives and everything, and how they love their wives and their family and everything like that. And at the end of the movie, when they finally get to their destination after all this crazy stuff's happened, John Candy says, you know, hey, and you know, I'll see you later. And Steve Martin's like, yep, you know, I really appreciate it, and you did get me home, and even though it's a couple of days late, and you know, thanks him, and think really gets a good, a friendship for him, and because they've been through a lot together. And after everything that had happened in that movie, everything that John Candy told Steve Martin, he gets on the train to go, to go home or whatever. They're in Chicago, and he's on the Amtrak or whatever it is, and on his way home, and he's like, just feel of relief, that he's finally made it home, and he's kind of away from that guy because he really likes him, but at the same point, you really can't stand him because he's the opposite of what he is, and two different kind of personalities. And on the train ride home, he kind of puts it all together and realizes that, I don't know if he realizes exactly what's going on, but he realizes that John Candy probably has nowhere to go. And of course, he takes the train back to the station and ends up seeing him sitting there. And, John Candy's character says, I don't have a wife anymore. She died. And I don't have a home. I'm sorry, I'm getting kind of choked up even talking about it because I'm kind of an emotional kind of guy, and I have no problem sitting down and watching a movie that's emotional and crying with my wife or by myself or whatever. Say some people may think that's not manly or look down on that. Personally, I don't really care. That's just how I am. I honestly don't think there's anything wrong with showing emotion and stuff. I mean, that's what makes us human. So, yeah, and then, the end scene is Steve Martin walking John Candy home, bringing him home with him. And it's just a great, great ending to a movie, and I get teary-eyed watching it every time I watch it. I've seen this movie probably 50 times, and every time I watch it, I get teary-eyed. It's just one of those movies. But, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say about this movie right now. I don't really know what else to talk about in it. Of course, you get intercuts of Steve Martin's wife, played by Lila Robbins. Susan Page is her name. Her husband's name is Neil Page, Steve Martin's character. And, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say about this movie other than that if you've never seen it, I definitely recommend it. It's an awesome movie. If you want to make you feel, you want to watch a movie that's going to make you feel good, and you want to get a few laughs in there too, when you're a John Candy and Steve Martin fan, this is about as good as it gets in my opinion. This movie gets like a 7.6 on IMDb. I honestly think that's a little low. Really think it should get closer to an 8 or a 9, because this is gold right here. This is gold. This movie doesn't get much better than that. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got for that movie. Like I said, there's some other ones I want to get to. I'll probably end up doing some Chevy Chase vacation movies. I'll probably end up doing that whole series of movies. I own all those. Those some of my favorites. Great movies. And some of the Halloween, the scarier movies that I was doing. I'll probably get back into some of those later on after I get past the holidays here. Get on past Christmas and New Year's and all that, and then I'll probably just start doing a bunch of other stuff and mixing everything in together. So, yeah, I'm trying to pick up on some subscribers, man. I really hope people listen to what I have to say or enjoy it anyway, or maybe learn something new. There ain't a whole lot that I know that a lot of people already don't know, so there's nothing that you can really watch in my videos that'll tell you any more about a movie that you could look up on your own, because that's where I learned it from, was online and just word of mouth and everything, and watching it throughout the years. So, yeah, I'm not a real informational type of guy, but I really like to talk about movies, and I really enjoy it, and I hope people enjoy listening to me. But just looking on my YouTube channel there, I haven't picked up any subscribers yet, so I really hope that I can pick up a few more. kind of fuel me to want to do more of these, because if people don't want to watch me and people don't care what I have to say, then I guess there's really no point, you know, in doing it, other than the fact that I like to do it. I enjoy talking about movies. I just hope people enjoy listening to me talk about movies. So, yeah, like I said, I'll be doing more feel-good movies, more holiday stuff coming up here. I'm kind of just going with the theme of what's going on in the world right now, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say for now. Like I said, if you like what you hear, man, subscribe and hit that subscribe button or the like button there. Let me know that I'm doing good, or if I'm not, maybe if I'm doing something wrong, or people would like to hear me talk about different things or other stuff. I'm also into I have a PlayStation 4. I like playing games. I'm actually into playing the Red Dead Revolver 2 right now. That's something that I've been doing lately. If you guys want to see any videos on that, I mean, just let me know what you're interested in seeing. I'd be interested to see some comments on here. So, but that's all I got to say for right now, and hopefully we'll see you back for more reviews. Thank you.